and live with Rushion. I hope I pronounce your name appropriately. How are you, my friend?
Good. It's Rushion McDonald, based in Atlanta, Georgia. The owner of 3815 Media. It's a production company that does streaming, managed talent like Stephen A.Smit on ESPN. Career has been pretty good. So ask me any questions about entrepreneurship, entertainment, and I'll be more than happy to lead people down the right path.
Well, let's start a little bit about your story, Rashan, my friend. Let's start a little bit about your journey, okay? Because I've looked at a little bit your career path, and you have done some amazing things, from movie to production to comedy. So let's talk a little bit about you, the man, how you started. You in your 20s, 1920s, what was your path up
I would
until
tell people,
now?
I would tell people that your dreams start between 18 and 23. I choose that number because that's when people talk about they want to go to college. A lot of people have that aspiration. So they mean they're willing to commit 4 years to college. And so during that period, a lot of people, college isn't for everybody, but dreams are for everybody. So that period of 4 years, you're dreaming, trying to figure out what you want to do, who you want to date, what job you want, what career path you want to take. Well, it started when I was 18. 18, I came out of high school and I wanted to do things that I saw on TV. I wanted to see things that I didn't see in my neighborhood. I come from an all predominantly Black neighborhood. So I saw the same people every day. I moved from one predominantly Black neighborhood when I was in elementary school to another predominantly Black neighborhood. And guess what? When I walked out of the door, they all looked like Black people. And so I knew that I had bigger dreams than to keep seeing the same people that I grew up with. And that led me to college. And college allowed me to expand. My degree is in mathematics. My minor is sociology. But while I was in college, I started doing stand-up comedy. And stand-up comedy changed my life and led me into this path of entertainment, writing, producing in television shows and managing amazing talent. And so in a nutshell, when I left IBM, I pursued the country and also the world because I did cruise ships and played in a lot of international ports, my stand-up comedy ability. But I always wanted to be a writer. I always wanted to be a producer, despite all my gifts as a stand-up comic. I wanted to be a producer, writer. Management, I didn't have that as an aspiration. That just happened. Steve Harvey asked me to manage him, and it turned out to be a blessing for both of us.
But I heard Steve Harvey he actually opened for you initially, and
Yes.
and so he was an emerging comedian, and then eventually you started managing him, and he blew off the sky. I mean, he went just crazy with success
Well,
later
that's
on.
that's the amazing thing about my life. Like I said, when I was much more advanced. I was a headlining comedian when I met Steve Harvey. He was an opening act. He came down from Cleveland, drove down, in fact, to take an opening act gig. Because guess what? As a comic, you just hustle. Man. Somebody give you for $75. Look, part of it going to go to gas, part of it going to go to money, and part of it going to allow you to sleep in your car so you get to the next gig. That's how you did it. And he shares those stories publicly when he talks about sleeping in his car, because we all did. We all had that hustle of trying to get to our next step dream. But as along the way, he also gave me my first opportunity to write in network television on his first television series in '93, which is ABC's Me and the Boys. So he's been very inspirational and instrumental in my life, as I have been with his life. But it wasn't until I started managing him in 2000 that we basically started setting legacy history together based on what we accomplished as two Black men in Hollywood.
Let's talk about the hustle. How important? Because I believe when you was inside it, it may have not been easy. But how
No,
valuable it is to you now, 20 years after, when you have obtained success. When you look back, do you see some value in that hustle, in that sleeping in the car, in all of that? What are the lessons you've learned, the most valuable?
I'll tell you something. Anything you do in life is tied to a lesson. It's even the negative things is a lesson. And what people do, they tend to compartmentalize the negatives as a bad thing. I don't consider negatives as being a bad thing because it allows you to set your goals and adjust so you can be successful and avoid repeating that negative. Your goal is not to repeat the negative. So if a negative thing happens in your life, so if a negative thing happens that you happen to sleep in your car, your goal is not to sleep in your car again. If a negative thing happens where you get fired from a job, your goal is not to get fired from your next job. And so those negatives that we encounter in life really are benchmarks that will enable you to be successful in everyday life, successful in your next opportunity. And a lot of people don't see it that way because they're so caught up in what everyday people think. And everyday people cannot make you successful because they're caught up in a standard 8 to 5 principle, and also caught up in a job they might not be happy with.
What would be the three advice you would give yourself if you could go back in the with the time machine and you look at yourself at your 2022 and in the eyes, kind of like in the movie, what would be the three advice you would give to yourself?
I would tell you that, first of all, despite all the success I was having, I didn't trust myself. I didn't believe that I was accomplishing these things. I was using cliche terms like right place at the right time. I'm lucky. I'm blessed. A lot of these terms people use on a regular basis, but really hard work achieves consistent effort. Understand what I'm saying? Hard work achieves consistent effort. So if you have a plan tied to that hard work, then you're going to be successful. And I was successful. I didn't realize it. I didn't admit that until I was in my 40s. And if I had to look back, I would say, Rashawn, you're talented. Rashawn, what you're doing in life isn't normal. And so it's all right. It's all right to be different. So a lot of people who struggle to be successful get caught up in other people being critical of their dreams. And my dreams were always very big. Even today, my dreams are big. And so now they're part of my thought process. They're part of my reasoning because I've accomplished things. So when I talk about it now, people expect it to happen and keep it. So if I had to go back and talk to Rashawn, I would say, and I would tell anybody, if you think different, it's all right. If you have different dreams than the normal person that surrounds you in your neighborhood, it's all right. Thirdly, trust yourself.
Okay, so let's talk about. Okay, you have talked about consistency, hard work, and the importance of that. Importance of trusting yourself, having a belief in yourself, but not just mere things you tell yourself. In front of the mirror. Yes, you can go on. Yes, you're doing it. No, we are talking about a real grounded belief in yourself, in your ability. Okay, so that we have talked about, but how important is luck? Just getting lucky, just being lucky, how important it's luck to obtain success?
Well, that's what I was saying. That's a cliche to me. Luck is a cliche to me because luck is tied because your effort positions you. Listen to what I'm saying. Your effort positions you. I always tell people, a lot of people use racism, a lot of people use gender inequality. A lot of it's tied to positioning yourself. I always tell people, and I'm not saying that racism does exist, gender inequities do exist, and we should be aware of that. But you have to position yourself, at least get a shot at being picked, a shot at being recognized, a shot at being chosen. And so I always tell people, it's where you position yourself just in conversation and in front of decision makers. If all decisions are made looking left, looking right, and in front of you, nobody turns behind and makes a decision. Nobody turns around and goes, let me see who's standing behind me. So you have to position yourself to be in the decision maker's eye line, eyesight, at least giving you a shot. That's what luck is all about. Now, I swear to you, nobody's going to turn around and go, let me see who's behind me, because I'm pretty sure there's some really special people standing behind. Nobody does that. They'll glance back, but they will turn around and make their decision. And so if they're glancing back, they may be trying to recognize somebody that they may feel is missing from the group, and they're trying to find out where they're at. But they're making their decisions in front of themselves. And so with that being said, the luck part is how you position yourself for an opportunity. Notice what I'm saying, how you position yourself. Now, if you want to throw the word luck on there, if you want to throw the word, it's even the point that if you walk down the street and found some money, okay, you walked down that street and found that money. If you did not walk down that street, I swear to you, you won't find that money. That's life.
Okay, so position yourself and just in try to position yourself in the eye line of success. Okay, very walk out there, do your thing. That is how we can synthesize
You have to understand that that's what it's all about. So many people sit around making decisions tied to things that they have no control over. I'm gonna tell you something. I could walk in a room and bet on the lottery. I've never played the lottery in my life. Okay. That would be absolute luck. But then I did put forth effort. Okay. And I did put out numbers, just like everybody else is putting out random numbers. Now, what you cannot do is win the lotto if you don't play. So that means that effort is tied to what you achieve in life. And that's what a lot of people don't understand.
So when you build your team, when you build your inner circle of people, what characteristic do you look in these people? What are you looking for in people that surround you, and how important they are to your success? Being
Well,
surrounded.
first of all, the people around you, you can't hold them to the same standards that you hold for yourself because it will only frustrate you, especially if you're a leader. Athletes have to, they just always say that about Michael Jordan. He held you to a higher standard, but he was one of the most incredible athletes. I think LeBron, he does a better job, I think, than what Michael did. In fact, that, he holds himself more accountable than the athletes, but he also challenges them to be better, not like him, to be better. And so that's a difference in what I do in my life. I hold people, my staff, accountable to the skill set that I hired them for. Then when they come on board, I'm gonna challenge them to be the best that they are, that they may not believe that they are. So that's my goal. My goal is to make you better. And so not like me, but to make you better. So you should have everybody, not your friend, not your family, not somebody you just like. Hire people that have skill sets that make you better. If you hire people just because they say nice things to you, you're going to be frustrated about that person because you already know they don't have skill.
Wow, fantastic. Great one. So if you had to start over from scratch, just today, what would you do?
If I just start over from scratch, I would tell you that I would understand that well, there are different levels. Okay, today you have social media. Today you have an opportunity to recognize that it's all right to promote yourself. We went through a period where people said if you promote yourself, you were conceited, you were cocky. Those terms don't work today. You have to promote yourself. You have to promote your brand. So starting all over today, I'm in a better position because guess what? I was probably the one thing that held me back when I was young, when I was 18, because I was told I needed to be humble. I was told I shouldn't brag about what my success. I was told that I should not, that I should also try to fit in. Today is exactly the opposite. You're supposed to show people your talents. You're supposed to brag about it and consistently elevate your success. So if I had started over today when I was 18, I would be out the box a superstar.
Wow, fantastic. Good advice there, especially for young people, and especially in this historical moment, right? With what we are going through, that's
Yes.
some good advice because there's
But
many people starting over.
I feel that a lot of people, I've heard of, not so much now. I think people are starting to understand that millennials, they were getting a negative rap, they wanted to skip line, they wanted to jump. I'm gonna tell you something. I was born in the rotary dial telephone era. Okay, I was born with texting. It wasn't until the '90s that a cell phone was considered something that everyday people could use. Okay, the iPhone is a little bit over 12 years old. Okay, so let's put all that in perspective. Okay, if you have technology, you have tools that can make you skip a line or skip a layer of frustration, then you use it. And so I'm not frustrated by young people using that tool. They understand the value of mentorship. I said when we were growing up, you didn't want it. They told you not to talk to adults. They told you not to come in a room when adults are talking. Now it's told that if you want to get ahead and gain information faster, seek out mentors, seek out people who are more experienced. So there's a different road, a different path to achieve your success is tied to seeking out mentors, it's tied to being able to promote yourself, and it's tied to having the tools to be able to promote yourself.
Wow. Important, fantastic. So, how important is a good education in your opinion? How important it was in your career, and how has that changed today versus 20 years ago?
I'll repeat that question again.
So, how important is a good education for obtaining
Oh, okay.
success? How important it was in your career, and how it has changed today versus 20, 30 years ago, that same importance.
Well, I'm African American. So when I came out of high school, the big push was for go to college. to even have a chance of getting a good job. Okay. Well, along the way, I got a degree in mathematics. I got a minor in sociology. I got a good job at IBM. And I realized that wasn't my dream. So the importance is pursuing your dream. That's the important thing. Because there are a lot of people out there working in jobs that they're not happy in. I'm very happy with what I do. So the education you seek, make sure it's the education that you want, not what your parents want, not what your teachers suggest, or not the one that your loved one feels is right for you. So education should be something that you want to pursue. Your dream should be something that you want to live.
Okay, wow, that's some good advice right there. Pursue the education that takes you closer to your dream.
Absolutely.
That's a good one. Now I have another question. So, what would you attribute your success to? Like maybe
Uh,
three characteristics that you say that's why I'm successful and that's why other people are not, or so many other people are not.
I, I'm successful because I understand the value of relationships. I understand that people you meet in life going up and down, you need to maintain that relationship. A lot of people who fail in life, they don't understand the value of relationship. They don't understand the value of two things I'm going to ask you. The value of relationship and everything you do in life should not be tied to how much money you're being paid. Understand that now. Everything you do in life should not be tied to how much money you're getting paid. It should be tied to what are you trying to get out of that opportunity. If you're getting paid nothing, but if you're going to give you an opportunity to better your career, better your experience, and make you more valuable, then you take it. And don't worry about what people say that you're being underpaid. As long as you have a goal tied to why you're doing something, then you're going to win in the long run.
Yeah, that's some good advice right there because you don't know as long as you're doing something that's important. For example, let's take me. I started with a small position in radio, and I was a volunteer. I wasn't even paid, and then I meet two or three people in there. Kind of, I made friends and said let's do the interviews, and I
Right.
gained courage, and now I am 33 interviews later. I'm here with you, because you don't really know what can happen. This is one important thing, that A can lead to B, C, D, or who knows. So that's some good
You know,
advice.
it's important that you understand that. It's important that you accept your role. And your role is to be able to understand that no is just a word. And a lot of people get so offended when people tell them no. They feel that that's I don't want I'm embarrassed by. I'm not embarrassed by anything that I've accomplished to be if it leads to the goal of what my dream is about or my aspirations is all about. So when you contacted me, I saw this as an opportunity to speak to somebody who valued my opinion. It wasn't about the interview. It was speaking to somebody who valued my opinion. That was the priority of it. And that's the benefit. Because what you want to be in my position is for people to respect and value what I'm accomplishing in my life and what I've accomplished in my life. If you're seeking those truths, then you will make a lot of money.
Wow, 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 wow. Seeking what? Okay, wow, fantastic, fantastic. What would be your three top advice for anyone looking to get in the entertainment industry? Any young people looking to get in this industry? Three advice.
Okay, cool. First of all, it's a business for the young. Understand that. It's a business for the young. Two, be prepared to understand that like anything in life, it's not a normal job. Okay. Normal jobs are 8 to 5. You know exactly what you're going to do when you arrive. You know exactly what your lunch breaks are going to be, and you know what time you're going to get off work. That's an 8 to 5. Okay, this is not entertainment. So that means that you have to be self motivated. You have to be goal oriented. So if you're not self motivated or goal oriented, entertainment is not for you.
Fantastic. Good one. Good one. Self-motivated, goal-oriented.
Absolutely.
Good one. So, what would be your three advice? This is three advice for a career for anyone looking to start a career. Like you did in just any career.
Yeah.
What are the good advice to maybe pick a career, or and go
I
about.
mean, it goes back to what I said earlier, you know, there's nothing wrong with me getting a math degree, but that wasn't my end game. There was nothing wrong with me getting, but whatever you start, finish it. Do not go through life with a lot of loopholes where you didn't accomplish anything. That leads to frustration. And what I'm saying is that if you left school to pursue another opportunity, finish the reason you left school. Okay, if that's all I'm saying. It's like because what happens with people when they make an adjustment or change, they just go from one unfinished project to the next, and that's what that affects your goals. So if your goal is to go to college, go to college. If your goal is to finish college, finish college. But if your goal is to, hey, I see a bigger opportunity other than college, well, make sure you finish that opportunity that you see. Because all of a sudden, you're going to get down the line and you're going to have a career that's not tied to anything successful, not tied to any goal that you set. And guess what? You're going to be a frustrated person. The world is filled with frustrated people because they don't commit or set goals. And when they set that goal, they don't commit to finishing it. And what I'm telling you is that it's not that I'm saying you can't change your goal. I'm saying that when you set a goal and you change it, make sure whatever you changed it to, you complete it.
Okay, fantastic. Complete your goals, take it to the end. Yes,
Right.
good
That
one.
allows people not to be, what if I want to see another opportunity? I'm cool with that. But make sure you complete it. You see it through. Don't just start jumping and just, or you see an opportunity, you see somebody suggest you go, all of a sudden you're just jumping from one place to another. You're not even jumping goals anymore. You're trying to skip. I always tell people it took me 7 years to graduate from college. The reason it took me 7 years to graduate from college, I kept trying to find easy classes that would give me grades so I can get out of school faster. Guess what? I never found those classes. So guess what? That's why I stayed in school that long. So 4.5 years of college, I was still a sophomore, a low sophomore in college. When I started committing myself and saying, look, putting forth effort, I graduated in 2.5 years.
Okay,
Once I
okay.
became committed,
Don't
once I
don't That's not looking for the easy way. And another thing that maybe some of what you say go back to the Warren Buffett principle that kind of meditate when you make before you make a decision. Think about it really, even if it takes a year or 6 months. And once you make that investment, you make that decision. Make sure it's a good decision. You pursue it for years, because there is a lot of trains that are passing by every day. There's new opportunity. Why don't you invest on this or that or this other or jump here or this that opportunity? And you just really finding that focus. It can be hard.
absolutely, and that's all I'm saying right now. Is when you play this back or somebody listens to it, their takeaway should be on the guy's focus, the guy's goal oriented, and the guy completes what he says he starts out to do. If you do those three things in life consistently, then you'll be successful.
What is your definition of success?
That's important you ask that question because guess what? It's different at different levels. Warren Buffett has a different level of success. Elon Musk has a different level of success. As an athlete, you have a different level of success. So who do you measure your success by? By the goals that you set.
Okay, how important is it's your, for example, your family life, your fitness, your wellness, keeping yourself healthy, as well as your career, and how you combine all of these different aspects in a way that it's sustainable over the long term.
Well, first of all, I always tell people there are 24 hours in a day in order to take advantage of each hour. That's a mantra for me. I always tell people lead with their gift, which means that your passion or something that you feel that's important to you, that you want to be achieved or recognized for. That's what I mean, lead with your gifts. And I also say, don't let your friends, family, or your age stop you from planning or living your dreams. Now, when you put all that together, that allows me to say, this is what I want to do with my life. And so many people allow different people to guide them in the direction that they're not going to be happy in. But they fear not disappointing people. They fear not acknowledging that they don't know that, and so they want to get the education to achieve success in that lane. So they try to skip lines. In the end, you have to be successful at what you want to do through hard work.
Okay, let's talk about being a black man in the Hollywood industry. I think you was among the first one. I mean, there weren't many black people in Hollywood. I mean, I've never been. I don't know. But what are some of the challenges you face, and how has that changed? What are some of the opportunities that, because of your generation, young people today entering that industry will have that weren't available 20 years ago?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. You know what annoys me about racism when people say get over it or people are not racist. Well, you can't say that because when I walk in a room, you know exactly who I am. If you're Jewish, if you're Italian, if you're Polish, if you're English, I don't know who you are until you tell me. Just using them as an example. Not saying that's a negative thing, but so that means that there's an advantage that you have that I don't have because of the color of my skin. So I'm always going to be at the back of the line because you can make a decision based on a stereotype or an association because of the color of my skin. But what you cannot do is allow that to be the detriment to you being a success. You always hear the phrase, I gotta work twice as hard. Probably so. But that's part of that's a hand that's dealt with me. But guess what? I'm dealing with it very happily. I'm smiling about it because guess what? I understand the challenges that are being put in front of me. I'm not ignoring them. I know there's a difference between how I look and a person who doesn't look like me, who have a lighter skin tone, being they might look like a white person. But stop right there with the conversation. Right there. Start putting together what makes you special. Start defining what makes you special and putting a plan in place that allows you to be special. When you do those things, you surround yourself with relationships that appreciate who you are and they will help you excel.
Wow, I like the last part. Relationship, they appreciate who you are and help you excel. That's very, very important.
It has helped you, everybody. And believe me, you're not talking to me because you figured this out by yourself. Somebody motivated you. Somebody showed you that it was possible. And then your inner being of what you want to do for yourself said, I can do it too. It's those people are very important. That's why relationships cause you to be successful. If you don't have a good relationship, then you'll be a frustrated person. Also, you'll be a person who is nowhere near your dreams.
And that's important. And one thing to remember that today it's more easier than ever because we have this social media platform. If your group or your people that may support you are not in your local town, like in your case, in your case, you had literally to jump on a bus and to go
Yeah.
out of your neighborhood to find someone who could help you out, who could understand you. But nowadays, you can just go on Google and find out if there's some people or some community who think alike, and it's much easier. That is some of the advantages that we have just now.
My goal in life is to become an international brand. I go on my podcast and I see people listening to me in Australia and Germany and Israel and South Africa and Argentina. I smile because it's somebody in that part of the country that's starting to understand the value that I can bring to them. And that's what you're talking about. You don't have to drive or fly. You just go online and get mentors and get positive motivation that your dream can become a reality. That's what you just said. And I say amen to that.
Fantastic. I have I have one more question. So, what you reckon, think, believe are three of the most valuable skills for the times we are living just now?
The three most valuable skills today is, I shouldn't say skill, I should say tool. Social media is a tool, and you should use it to your advantage, especially if you're an entrepreneur. The ability to be able to communicate. I think communication is really key. And a lot of people say, I'm not a big talker. Well, you don't have to be a big talker. Just be able to communicate through email, through social media. So many people are successful. People be a millionaire. They're babies who are millionaires just pushing toys around on YouTube. So there's so many ways that you can do. So using social media as a tool, learning the ability to communicate. And if you learn the ability to communicate, that's going to allow you to develop relationships. And finally, relationships. You got to have relationships. You got to develop them. You got to hold on to them. And most importantly, you have to respect them. And that will doesn't start you at a nice starting point. And as you develop more relationships, then you become even more greater. Because what you're trying to do is bring value to that relationship. That's your goal. You're not trying to position yourself that that person always is somebody you turn to. You eventually want to have value to that relationship comes back to you. That's your goal.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's fantastic. And one more thing I would add, it's focus on also what can be long-term relationship. Many times we
Yes.
focus on the 1, 2, 3 days, and we should look more we should look more on the long term. So regarding the global, the world, what are some of the changes you would like to see in the next 20 years, in the future, in around the world? Just some of the things, some of the opportunities and troubles and problems that regard all of humanity. Some of the things you would like to really to see around the world, some positive changes.
I think that no matter what in this country, somebody's going to always think they're better than the other person, which is fine. It's called competition. It's called competition. I think competition should be colorless. Competition should be tied to your talent, your accomplishment, your hard work. In the next 20 years, I would love for that to be the goal. The goal is not about how you look, it's what you do and how much you're willing to sacrifice to achieve that goal. Not only to make yourself successful, but make the world a better place to live.
Okay, so a world where everyone can compete based on what they do, not how they look.
Yeah.
This is some what you would like to see. Um, so I think we've covered quite a lot of topics. I have one final last question.
Yeah.
A few I think two other questions. So what are three of the characteristics that you have noticed in working with super successful people like Steve Harvey? I think I cannot pronounce his name. Jemie, Foxx, Kevin Hart. What do you think are some of the three main characteristics that when you look at them, they have in common? Different personality, different, different background, but you look at them and say, oh, okay, there is a match here with these three or four characteristics.
Okay. One, they're talented. Let's go and put it out right. They are talented. Okay. Secondly, they're hard workers. Thirdly, nobody tells them they can't accomplish their dream. Those are three qualities that they have. They have the talent. They work hard to develop that talent and maintain that talent. And then they refuse to allow people to tell them that they cannot be successful.
Okay. Talent, work hard, and refuse to tell them they accept that they don't have
Or
success.
they reject negativity. They
Yes, they
reject.
reject negativity. Okay, they're about the positive. They're about doing good things, and they'll keep going. Whatever happens, they'll keep going.
Mhm.
Um, so I have another good question. I think I was. So 3 tips for success. Yeah, okay, so let's do this one. What are your maybe your three? No, Echo. That's the one question. How important is the business idea in a business venture? So if you were to give it a percentage, just the idea and the vision of that business, how important is it versus all of the rest? Versus how important is that? 10%, 15%, 20%.
I think that I think the whole process is an evolution of how much effort you're going to put in. And again, I'm just going to be honest with you. You know, it's all about effort. Okay, I can't give a percentage to effort. Effort is talking to you. Effort is eating food. Effort is taking care of your body. Effort is letting people around you that you respect them. Effort is going to bed on time. Effort is waking up on time. So I would say, as far as myself, effort is 100%. But it's so many different layers of what it's tied to. So when you look at what I'm trying to accomplish, like when I look at people, it's how much effort you're willing to be a good person. If you're a good person, then the relationships will come back to you. If you're a good person and put forth effort, then you receive that and and show respect by showing them that you're willing to put forth effort because it's been received correctly. So this is what it's all about. effort is the number one reason why you're able to talk to me today, because you put forth effort. I return your message that you gave to me.
And one thing I like you said is being a good person, because I have noticed that there are some very intelligent people, including that I have met in university, and from all over, like I'm talking to you, and all over from different walks of life. But some people are sucked with anger, with negativity, or with with not necessarily being good. So with that last part that you say, being a good person, it's I think it's also very, very important. It goes beyond your IQ, beyond your goal, etc. Just being genuinely good, that's really, really important.
I'm a good person, and I'm cool. I'm happy. I happily say that. What defines what a good person is? Somebody who respects your time, somebody who's willing to give their time, and somebody who really enjoys his life. I enjoy my life.
I have the last three. So leave us with three tips for success. Once again, the best ones. This is the top of your repertoire. And one book recommendation, with one really good book that you can recommend for everyone.
A book recommendation that changed my life was uh, How to Swim with Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive. And that's a great book. It's about 20 years old. It's called How to Swim with Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive.
How to swim with shark without being eaten alive.
Yes, you can Google it. It's a great book. And it's a book about motivation, how to work with people, how to motivate people, how to set goals. And the cool thing about when I read the book, I was already naturally doing these things, and it just reaffirmed I was doing the right things to be successful. And that's all you want to read books about.
Yeah, it was kind of a confirmation. You said, but when you had this, but actually I'm doing something good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I get it.
We all are successful, but sometimes a guy was interviewing me. He said, "Man, you say things like it's normal because it's so engraved in my mind, and so when I tell people about it, it's normal. That's how I live my life." And so these books that you read about motivation and success, your goal is to be part of that message, to be part of, oh, I do that, I do that. So what you have to do is sharpen your tool to make sure it becomes not something just you do, but something you live. And so that's the book I would recommend everybody. And I want to pull back the word effort into this conversation, because if you want to be successful, it's all tied to effort. Secondly, you cannot hang around people who don't share your dream or understand what you're trying to do in your life. I always tell people, if you want to be a doctor, you don't talk to a mechanic. You don't, because they're going to tell you what they know. So, and thirdly, you have to be willing to believe you can accomplish what you say you want to do.
Thank you very much with Russian MC Donald. We are going to close the recording now, and I'm going to just talk super briefly with you behind closed door to make you a small proposal. That's it. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks, Russian. We'll publish it. It will be all over the social media. We'll do the best with the sharing.